Right at 9:30 almost. Good morning. We are at 43.33 on our stock, which is one I got out of. And so let's get rolling with the market, shall we? And the first thing I'm looking at here this morning is AMC. There's just a lot of talk going on AMC. And right now I am looking at, well, these actually have gone up. I can't imagine those are the current prices. Okay, no wonder. It would be back here's where those current prices are. And we are open now. So the stock market is giving it its price. It's 44.07 at the moment. We'll go ahead and grab just one of these. And I think that'll be a good idea. Let's go ahead and get that one in there. And it looks like we got ahead and got on it. So we'll just see how well that one does for now. In fact, it might be wise to go ahead and grab one more of these guys. Man, we just want to do good today, my friends. Look at it go. It's going to be at 45 by the time we get in there. Although the thing I'm worried about is the pullback, and then that's where you start having problems. Let's go ahead and set back here. Let's slow down and try to see what's happening here. Good morning. I'm your happy healer. This is this is MoneyMantics. Last evening we were not on time. Well, here we are at 45.16. That's pretty good, folks. I think we might go ahead and think about maybe pushing this up to 46 now. And we've got some prices here. Some of these are looking pretty good, pretty juicy. 281. So maybe we'll go ahead and, let's go ahead and look at some of these further out ones, like maybe 50. Maybe there's some really good deals on these. Not really, not for the price that you could have right on top of it. I mean, for 45 compared to that, let's go to like say 56. Let's see if they start dropping there. That makes it a wonderful deal. Well, as it turns out, we're dropping against our own price here, so let's see what happens. We're just going to hold tight right now. The goal is to be positive today for sure, and it's just really hard to say what's going to happen. We're only $20 up on our first holding, and I have to be exceedingly careful with this. Let's go take a look and see what our prices are on Moderna, because we're in a very dangerous game, folks. We are playing with options, and of course we've already been hurt, some of us to some degree. Let's see what our buy. Okay, and there goes AMC again. I just feel pretty good about maybe buying one of these ones a little bit further out, but the thing about it is, if I do that, I'm going to want to probably go a little bit more further then and get even a better price. But if I do that, then I'm going to want to put it out further. And there's a lot going on here, my friends. I'd probably want to put this out. Because one of the things that's been killing us, and now it's darn near almost at its highest numbers here. Let's see, if we were to do it like that, it would become $1.34 to $1.39. I think that might be better off. Let's grab one of these. That'll give us an extra day. Make sure it's one. Okay, go. And did that fill? It apparently did. And let's get back in there. So now we're sitting on two of these guys. One is 36 up. We're going on 45. Right at 45.04 now. And that's that. Hang on just a moment here. Oh, and the phone call went away. That was coming into your Happy Healer Lovers phone line here. And so here we go. We're at 44.90. It is AMC today. Now we have one that expires for September 3rd. And then we have one $70 call that expires for September 10th. I did cash in my positions yesterday, which I just felt more comfortable doing that once I started seeing things going down. And given that they did go down, they did shock me. I think I'm going to man, it's kind of hard for me to do this because I keep sensing that, oh, this is the time, but quite frankly, these really haven't been taking off yet. Not according to the prices we were in on. Not if you got in when I did, which is shortly after the market opened, then you're still sitting basically in a position where you're waiting to see it move, which it's there. We're in green. We're not complaining. Let's go ahead and jump back on over to Webull here. So we do see some good movement here with AMC. Let's hope that continues. In the meantime, like we were just a moment ago looking at Moderna, what is it doing? It's gone up just a bit. Welcome to the program if you're just getting with us. And yeah, I did miss yesterday's opening, which really frustrated me. I was supposed to be getting that at 41, and never could get in at that level because of how things turned out in the opening. But that's what happened. So do welcome to the program. So Moderna is now at 378.79. Let's go. All right. And I'm looking at you here on the chat, so talk to me. And MoneyMantics, I'll be having a directional. I'm changing things up on MoneyMantics because it's really important to me to have quality content and express that which I know is to be true about MoneyMantics out there. So I'll be changing some of that up and putting out higher quality content. Then also on the direction, there'll be some changes as well. We'll be introducing another show into the lineup. So yeah, we will be pulling back on how often we do MoneyMantics, and we'll be doing a lot more pre-recorded stuff. But in addition, probably once a week we'll have a conservative show that is picking up on some of our channels, being announced to all of them here. And remember, we represent people far and wide, so we have channels that really represent those expectations for our interest, being everything from the stock market, which you see Moderna is still at 376, all the way to and by the way, AMC now is at 45.24. That makes us feel better about our positions. Definitely a confirmation moving forward. We are in 7 minutes, however, of the market opening, so really anything is possible. Excuse me. Let us get out of this area and back into our stock here, and let's look at these here. So yep, you could still get in. 45.30 is where we're at in the market price. This thing could definitely take off and really push. It has that feel to it. I just feel like it would be wise to maybe get in at this 50 level at this point. Maybe we can pick up one of these. I think we have enough at this point showing us that there's some push here that it maybe makes. I hope I did that right. I think I kind of walked into that fast. I got it right? I got it right. Okay. We're up today by 92.50. And welcome to the program. Right now you could see where, and I said, look at me, I know I wanted to take my time going in, so we picked up a smaller purchase, and we're sitting on 3 contracts for AMC. Let's just try to hold our horses right there. We have 2 that are expiring for September 3rd. We have 1 that's expiring for the September 10th. Although 45.70 right now, I think this thing could do so many things, including fly straight up. It's really a beautiful thing to see here. And if you notice, even that further out call, that expires on September 10th is gaining value, just, because this stock price is rising pretty good. In fact, I think there maybe, it's rising at that level that makes you want to just jump in again, because before you know it, it'll be at 46, and if this thing climbs up today to like 55 plus, it'll be getting in now. Those ones that got in now, that'll be really worthwhile, and looking much better. So we are up 141.50. Golly, already up from that now. 151 for the day. Morning, we're 9 minutes in. We are at 45.81, struggling to break 46. And usually with these prices, when you don't break it and you just touch it, then you fall back a little bit away from it, and then you come back in again to break it. So there's opportunities for better pricing, but there's also a risk that you can fall out completely from, just it could fly right past and then you miss out totally. So I'm going to look at the 10th being as probably the safest bet, given how we see this thing turn out all the time. And I'm trying to be reluctant to just jump in, but my goodness, if it doesn't seem like to me that we are on a potential roll today, then potential rolls don't exist then. I think we'll get in for this and we'll just hold out. I hope it's the right call. If any times to be the MOAS, it's definitely and the times we're in. We are rolling back. That's when I prefer to pick up these positions, if any. I don't want to see us roll back too far. Having that we've just opened, that's totally possible, which has me thinking about closing a position or two, especially that we're stepping back. And I hate thinking like that. But, when you get burned enough on these options, you just do what you got to do. And if it cuts you out for the day and makes it so that if you sell, you can't get back in again, well, on the upside, at least you can get back in tomorrow. And, I'll never agree with the pattern day trading rule, but in that I don't agree with it, I'm for sure looking at it in that sense. And I would say my two safest positions right now probably are the September 10th positions that are further out, even though it looks like it can take off at the $45 level in 2 weeks out. It's a pretty safe bet. And so given that this thing could really take off, there's a lot of market dynamic that could be the thing that pushes it and makes all the difference in the world, then AMC could be a potential real game changer in your portfolio as well. We're at 125 up. Again, yesterday we were down 190. Happened, in the day. We sold, well, we came in late. We should have been at 90, been in this thing at 41. But, there were reasons for that. Excuses. They don't measure up to much, and excuses sure don't pay very well. So I don't like them very much. And pretty straightforward right there. And so we are still sitting on AMC this morning. Our other plays that we sometimes get into, Moderna right now, last time we looked, was a little bit up. And we'll take a look again here. We're at 45.54 with AMC and pushing. Moderna is now at $3.84, and it's $13 up. And it's kind of, I'm in this phase with Moderna where it's such an expensive position to be in that I'm unwilling to take money and put it into Moderna until my vision is clear. And when I get good vision on Moderna, I'm almost always right. Had I been more careful, there's times when I told people this is for sure the way it's going, and it went that way, and I'm gonna stick back to those standards. I'm not gonna be jumping into Moderna just because there's a lot of heavy weight and pushing going on. I think that it's really dangerous to do that with any stock. Right now SPRT's at 32.87. This thing has had a run. And there's a lot of stocks here that have had a run. And you can see all this as of recent. So a lot of people have been making good money on these positions fast. And it ran up get this, from, $13, $12 up to $60. I mean, that's insane. Whatever. We're in AMC. Let's AMC run today. So we're at 46 now. That's great news. We are 15 minutes into the market. We are sitting on 4 contracts. And that's how we get them done. So let's hope for that constant movement forward, my friends. AMC is going straight up right now. That's what we want to continue, that exact kind of pushing. It's exactly how we make that movement. And good morning to you. Let's all make some money, will ya? Will ya make some money? Make some money. Hopefully you're making some money. Hey, do me a favor today, will you? Make some money, okay? Make some money. Wait, let me think about this. Yeah, make some money. I want you to make some money. So we are together in this. It's 45.68. Hello, and good morning. If you want to talk to me this morning, use the chat. I'm here. And I'm looking to see if you're saying anything. Until then, we'll just go ahead and enable our chat timers. And what you're looking at, if you're just arriving, is AMC being at 45.80 plus, and a lot of momentum on AMC this morning. And let's take a look at our volume, starting out with 5 million, following it up with another 3.86 million shares being traded the second moment. These are just moments in time. And then the very next one is 3.96 million. And then now we're on 897,000. It's a growing number, as it turns out. And for the day, we're at 13.82 million shares traded already. The price of AMC is 45.61. Right now, we are on our first red candle of the market open. The big substantial one here. Let's see, I don't know if this is red actually. I wouldn't say it's the first red candle. These are in 5-minute increments, to be clear, not 1 minute. That's why the volume is up compared to if you're used to the 1 minute moments, which is not the correct terminology, but certainly works. 45.96 is where we stood at 940. 945, you see how that works. And in the 5-minute increments, this is now pushing 45.50 on us, and yes, indeed, working into the first negative candle. But we're going to go ahead and change our view back to the minute candles, and yep, and I think that's a better, more realistic view. I think the pattern emerges a bit better when you do that. So yeah, the floor right now is it's emerging at 947 is actually right where it's at. This 45.5 is the way I feel about it. That it's very volatile, so that can change. In our movements here, we are up some. And I have to make a choice whether I'm going to be dedicated to this 44.5 price, or if this thing can drop to below 40 or something and not come back again, in which case, then I have to get out, and I have to get out of the play, because if I don't, then I stand to lose, and we all stand to lose. The only one that I'm really thinking like that on a bit right now is the one I have right at the $45 call, because that's the one that starts losing money fast if it can't find its footing. But I think it will find its footing. I think that prices have since basically started catching up with us. Being 45.5 up just 10 minutes ago meant being up $100 plus on the portfolio. Now, and you could rewind if you want to compare that, but now it appears that that has changed a bit, and our price is dropping here. So like I said earlier, we'll challenge these levels like at 46, but if it doesn't break through, then there's a chance we could drop, and that drop could be pretty substantial if they get their footing going. I know that there's some potential catalyst in the market, and so we're also looking at those. Let's take a look at the chart here. And again, this is on AMC. I'll always do my best to make sure you're aware of which one we're actually on here when we're discussing it. And yep, make sure you can see my eyes at least, if nothing more. And we have here back into AMC's chart, we're at 45.51, 48. So we're trying to keep that upper level floor to be around 45.5 for my comfort level, although the stock market isn't here to please me, that's for sure. But I am eager to see it please us all, let's put it like that. And if it is getting ready to go on a downswing, and it totally looks like it could be, I might just be best off letting go of this $45 call and then hanging on to the others. And the others are already starting to reflect downward. I don't like the way that feels, but you know, I guess it's like that sometimes. And those are the ones that lose value when the momentum starts kicking off, because those are the ones that are pushing for higher values in the first place. You need higher values for those to cash out, and you know, their strike prices are between, one is 50 and then the other two are 70, except for those 70 ones go out for some time. Yeah, I think it's worth going ahead and closing this one. I think it's really worth that, because then it means I could stay in the other positions longer if I get some money out of that one. Of course, it's going to sit here working and then drop like a ton of potatoes. Okay, let's not do that. Let's do what we intend here, please. Yeah. So we're up 24 on that. Now it'll come back, of course, and shoot through the roof, which I'm just fine with. It's exactly what we want. And, you know, that's how not being greedy and making sure that you're being prudent looks on your profile. Now, why wasn't I pushing on my portfolio? Why wasn't I pushing harder to cash out at 46 when we were, you know, more like $70 negative on this? It's because we're pushing for 50 and 60 at that point, and we could still push in that direction, except for that we could also go lower, and the lower side is really, I think it's kind of baked in a little bit if you were to look at the other prices on the board. We're $32 negative. This thing, unless it ran lower than, say, 44 or 43, I don't think it would be above at any time 100, more than 100 negative. And that's what I'm trying to do, minimize how negative things can get while maximizing staying in the position with at least 3 contracts that could really pay out if things take off. I'm trying to minimize value loss while preserving the value that is there, so it could be put to work when it's needed and not lose that value. And then, of course, the main goal is to be present for the MOAS, to catch that. And if you don't know what the MOAS stands for, it's MOASS. It's the mother of all short squeezes. First and foremost, I am behind the movement. I want to see these hedge funds lose. Because when they're losing, Americans are winning. They're winning right away. They're winning in the future. in a variety of ways. When the hedge funds lose. And right now we are at 45.16. Wouldn't have made a difference if I stayed on that so far, but in the hopefully unlikely event that it dropped, I wouldn't be hurt. Well, now I can't be, and which means I'll still be in the game tomorrow. It's that quick you can drop out of options. You know, when I've done it right and I've been prudent, I've been around to be in the game, and what I've realized is what's most important to making money in options is being in the game. Because, you know, you get kicked out of it sometimes when you make, you know, really aggressive moves that could net you, you know, progress, but could also take as well. All right, so what we're seeing here is things now start to settle into itself. Let's go to, we're going on the 10 o'clock hour. We're going to check first Moderna right quick, and then we'll settle into AMC. We've got 30.78.12, so it's come back down on Moderna. This is why I don't like getting into Moderna right now. It's just, it costs us so much. All right, let's step over here to where we belong, and that's AMC. All right, so AMC right now is at 45.30, and being at 45.30, let's get up to 46. That's our next goal. We have here, I would say right now it's pretty even buying pressure. That's pretty evenly matched if you look at the order sizes. And right now we're still trading at between 45.15 and 45.40. So let's see that real pushment above 45.5 hold and then gain from there. And is it totally possible? You better believe it. Remember, there's a lot of movements, a lot of catalysts for AMC. There's a lot currently that has already been out there, but that just got, you know, to AMC as being a catalyst. One of the things is we make our own catalyst. I don't know if you've heard this or not, but when here we go to 45.38 now, this is breaking above that 45.40 level. Makes me wish I kept that previous call, but it's okay. Here we go. 45.50 now needs to become 45.75 and hold that steady. That's what the next goal then becomes. So we got to do 45.75 and then hold that steady. So so far as catalysts go, and it looks like we're moving it. I think we make our own as well. Many of these traded positions we get into are being traded by brokers in markets that are not lit. So it's really important then that we ensure that we're working with brokers that only trade with lit markets, so that when an order is entered on behalf of any one of us who are pushing for the stock market to go up, specifically AMC, that it's registered on that lit market and makes a difference in the price. That is really important. Right now we're trading at 45.17. So, and it's climbing. Let's hope from there. So it has to settle back in itself a bit, you get me, in order to push forward. And that's what I've noticed, and that's true on any stock. You can never really get that push forward unless it settles back first. And so by AMC APES is so beautiful, making their own movement. And good morning, folks. It's the reason how we can make movement at all sometimes is because we think in that way. And it goes back to, are we getting our orders done in lit markets or not? Because that's really, if we dedicated all of our movement and apes together, work together to make sure their orders were put through lit markets, then that itself can become a catalyst. Do you see how this works? And why I'm saying this is because this is exactly where the apes have gone. Beautiful. It's great. You know this if you're an ape, maybe. If you're part of that ape nation and you've been paying attention to the ways that this is being approached pretty much by the ape community. Well, maybe minus Matt Kors, I'm not sure. I used to watch Matt Kors more often, but now I don't have the time to dedicate watching all day into Matt Kors in order to pick up a little tidbit of useful information here and there. He makes videos that he gets things said a little bit quicker too. So those are the ones to watch with Matt Kors. And you can learn a lot there and take a lot about AMC away. And the thing that you really have to see about Matt Kors the most is that he's got a huge audience for AMC on this stock. People so dedicated to this stock. Apes, and that's amazing. Funny enough, he started off, quitting his job, just, doing AMC videos, and it paid off enough for him where he was able to amass this huge audience, and now he's making great money doing that. It didn't matter if what he had before was small money, like you and I, to put into this, but if that was his case before, it's certainly changed now, because in super chats alone, he's already amassed over $500,000. I don't know how he spent that money. Maybe he lost a lot of that money in options. I know options will lose your money quick, as we talk about, but he certainly has put that into the market. One of the things, and I love Matt Kors, but that I say, and I think this is important for all of us, is to remember there's a lot of people that are in this that are activists. They're change makers. They want to change the market the way things are fundamentally done. More than anything, that's what they want out of this. Even more than a MOAS. They want change, because with that change, that is their MOAS. That's where they get a chance to be in the market. Like so many people, they're in the market and they get scared out of it. Most often, it's the hedge funds taking their money and sending them away. And we don't need that. We need a market that's healthy. We have enough participants in the market that we don't need that kind of nonsense. They're not really adding value to the market at this point. Certainly if they added some value, it was in the past, and those days are gone. I don't know why we still have this archaic thing in our lives. These awful hedge funds that just do their best when America's doing its worst. But we need to really... I'm a change maker in that way. I want to see us do away with these awful hedge funds. And I think so many people backing AMC are exactly that. We're at 478, by the way. 45.78, 45.80, getting ready to actually challenge previous highs this morning and possibly even break away past them, which is fantabulous and fun-tabulous too. Okay, so right now we are at 45.85. This has been a challenge in previous points, like here when we failed to break through and stay through. We then came back and then worked again to push through. I kind of figured that would happen, but at this level there was still a chance that things could have settled down. I honestly didn't believe that, as I stayed in with 3 contracts and sold 1. The one that I did sell was near strike price, meaning it held the most value at that point. And it's the name of the game, is your longevity. How long can you stay in it so that you could benefit from the big move? And I think the big move is coming. And that's really what the most realistic way to look at this AMC thing is. You're not looking for a bunch of movements if you're edging yourself mostly to be in it in a way that you can gain from it massively. And that is what options do, realistically. Now, this, as a longtime holder of AMC, or like I said, change maker, I have owned the stock, and I have both owned it and done options. From the very beginning, I have always said the safest thing to do is to buy the stock itself, because you never have expiration on that. I mean, even if you bought this way back when it was, at $50 from before, now it's coming back to that price again. So you're made whole again, and you had no time constraints stopping you from doing that. As an option holder, if you lose money way back then, that money's gone forever. You need to come out with new money and try to make your way back. And that's the whole objective of option holders, is staying in it long enough. That's why I really, at this point, and it takes more bankroll to do this, but it's a lot safer, and I advocate to do the 45-day calls on this position. Maybe even figure out how long you're willing to stick in it for the MOAS. How long are you really willing, at the sake of premium, stick in this thing for the big movement, or the series of big movements, however it turns out to be. And I would say, realistically, if money wasn't the biggest issue, I would say point out to somewhere in 60 days on a day that's not very rowdy. Today's even a good day because it didn't pick up fast yet. And, I mean, it's all within reason right now. I mean, this is not pushing away prices to new levels. We're probably barely even, if anything. And there we are, even on the day. I didn't know we'd be exactly even. That was a little bit crazy. But that's what it is. And so it's, barely even on the day. Your hope is to, and it looks like we might get pushing here. Again, the idea is to get past that 46, and this weird trade that we're doing this movement that we're doing now, that's just kind of going exactly sideways. My goodness. That's really interesting to see, because it's holding, it's like it doesn't want to come down, so instead it just goes exactly sideways, and let's hope it pushes up from there, and it certainly can. This is what we're in it for, that big movement. So if you're still there, then that's what's most important, and that's the reason why that's what behind my movement is. Now, would it still have been better off that I stayed in shares from the very beginning? As it turns out, the facts will point to yes. And I've been enough in it to say, and I think I'm smart enough to look at the various ways, and I think anybody who has been more options heavy in AMC from the past till now would tell you that it's been more expensive to be in options and to stay in doing the shares. Now you might ask, well, then why are you still doing options? And that's because for the amount of money that they have to keep coming back into the market with, it's not enough to buy enough shares and meet their expectations. Expectations are a big thing when you're doing this, and given that they've already lost so much, they want to be in it in a way that's as big, at least, as they had when they had their shares. And quite frankly, a lot of these folks have been playing the options market on a bunch of different stocks, and that is where they've been mostly, not even buying the shares at all, maybe. And so to have them in the derivatives market working for bringing up those options contracts are still a net plus for this stock. So you have to appreciate these types. But the people buying the shares are really the most consequential on the actual immediate price of AMC, and any stock for that matter, when it's at that level. Right now, we are at 45.53. Let's go ahead and pull out of AMC as it's settled down and take a look here at Moderna. Moderna started pushing up a bit here from whence it fell, 377 to 380. And you know what people tend to do in the market often, and this is one of the things I'll be talking about moving forward also. Looking at different stocks and having a buy or sell or hold. Look at Regeneron. This would be a beautiful stock if I just bought this, if anyone just bought this. Remember, when I first started talking about this with you, it was at 620, and now it's at 680. And this thing, I have a price target in my own mind of everything that I've seen this thing do. I I think it'll continue making this move until it gets above 700. So I think it would be another good stock to own. And I say 700, it doesn't stop there, folks. I think this is going to go on to about 900. And so it's a really good company that it does, Regeneron does all of the antibody treatment for COVID. It's like the only treatment that works prior to actually coming full on with the disease. And, at a point when it's already too late for any kind of vaccines to work. ADA is right now at 281 and trending a little bit higher. I like that. I love ADA. I think that Cardano is amazing. I think it's going to be worth over 10. I would say about $10 by the end of this year. Here's how it'll probably work out. ADA, Cardano, this is cryptocurrency, will likely be at $10 by February of next year. Bitcoin will likely be at 100,000 by the same time. And so just between now and then, and I think ADA could even be higher than that. If Bitcoin gets to 100,000, I'm going to say ADA gets to maybe even $12 or $13. Mind you, this is only at 290 or 281 right now. You see it here. And so there's a lot of upside in that, right? If you really look at it for that. And then there's actually a derivatives market in options. In crypto. That has options as well. But it's not really, I haven't seen an easy way to access that. Maybe that's a good thing. But you get my point. I think that's kept to, I think you can make good money in the options market in crypto if you think about it, right? But I think that's left to inside players or something. I don't know. It's not left to me. That's all I know. All right. So, and I'm probably wrong about that. I need to look into that more. GameStop is at 218, so it's pushed above its previous levels of 211. It's actually pushing a little bit harder. I'll tell you what, GameStop is not a bad bet to be in. If you're doing these options, to have a side bet right there on GameStop. I'll tell you what, I really do think that's the truth. GameStop is, as long as those options aren't too overpriced, I think they're worth getting into. It moves faster than AMC, and what I noticed is on the last run, GameStop pushed their squeeze or push, whatever you want to call it, further along than AMC did. Although AMC is where most people are at. Well, a good thing most people are there because it's got a much larger float in its share size than GameStop as well. I just want to see Apes win and beat the living crap out of all of these hedge funds that's been hurting our stock prices and costing us our money. Trust me, I lost a lot of money in the last year in the market. I didn't mean to at every point. At every point it was about making progress. Nobody intends to do that. And I didn't get in during the big V when, the reason so many people have been pushed in the market that weren't there before, in part, is because after COVID, it was like a huge discount. And, people like Meaty McGreedy, they made all their money on that. And, now we're supposed to look back at them like they were brilliant because they profited off of COVID. I don't think so. And so now we see all that profit. We see that immediate V recovery and all that wealth being created, of course, for the wealthiest people already. Some of the greediest people, some of the most unpleasant people, really. I mean, we all have ability to make progress and be better people. I do my best not to judge, but to love, and instead to look at the acts that are hurting us and not to judge individual people too much. You got to hold people accountable, right? But you don't want to become someone that's just going at people to make, statements in ways that are primarily political in nature. It needs to be about real progress for real people, and then I'm about it. Now, if for real progress and real people, it makes sense to mention the harm that somebody is doing, like Meaty McGreedy, then I'll hone in on that, and I'll focus on the various ways that is true about Meaty McGreedy's actions, and then I will do my best to be effective in describing that transgression against humanity, and that's what it is. So that's what the hedge funds have been doing. Now, don't you know, in the last, year or whatever, remember, a year ago to now is after COVID already got started. If you want to be in before COVID got started, then you got to go back to a year and a half now. So, times have changed, haven't they? And we're at 45.60 for AMC. Okay, just kind of monitoring that situation. Yeah, and if you were in this past market, and it's really hurt you a lot because of these. If you got in after Meaty McGreedy and those types already made their V recovery money, and then we had that lull, just going into the new year, especially in some of those growth stocks, especially in Moderna, where Moderna was worth a lot more, in that January and February range. It was trading at well less than $200. Now it's much higher, but it was trading at, coming in at some points, it was $104 in this new year, in 2021, after the contracts and everything else. So that was a lot of price manipulation. Folks like me seeing clearly it should be much higher, while in the meantime we were looking at other stocks like what's the other one? I used NV. What is it? I know you guys know. Oh, we're over 46, by the way. That's beautiful. NV. I'll find it here. Well, there's this one, but I look at this thing as that's dangerous, and it's a good price right now. Not unless it's a short squeeze bet. Could be a short squeeze bet. NVAX. So let's see where NVAX is now. 238. NVAX was trading at above 300 in these times. It got up to 360, I want to say. And if you go to the 1 year chart, we'll just kind of, look at that right there, right at that peak. And remember, these are just the end of days. Interim on the day got up to like over 350 on some of these days. And this is just a company that hasn't even put out, their vaccine. Yet here it was trading so much higher at a time when Moderna wasn't being recognized for its value. Now it's flipped. Now it turns out Moderna's way up there. Yeah, now it's flipped, and Moderna is more valuable than Novavax, and that's the way it really should be if you think about it. We're still struggling to get above 46, as in to stay above 46. Now we'll see if maybe the new low for now is around this higher 45, 90-ish range. And don't I feel like a fool for selling that initial one? I kind of felt like I would be, but I was going to be more prudent today. And what's that? Who's that? That's someone saying, I want to be here for, there it is, over 46. I want to be here for the big movement. But these little movements, I'm willing to sacrifice profit on because I need to stay in the game. That's more important than anything else. To be in the game for the big movements when they come. Because that'll be most painful if you missed out on. Trust me on that, especially if you've been chasing this thing since the beginning. And so that's the objective, and that's the challenge for people in options, If you ever see somebody that's, options are so great. Yeah, we're on options right now, and we might do very well if this thing runs on. But likely, we'll have a hard time making the money back we've already lost. We're in options now because we're in so deep. And, from one moment to the next, life circumstances are keeping you continuously going in. And the one thing that's guaranteeing your loss are those stupid hedge funds from the very beginning. So that's why we have to get them out of the market. And until we do, we're going to constantly have them feeding off of us, not like a baby, but like a cancer. Okay, let's see what people are saying here. There's people saying hi and hey and hello and hula. And I just want to say hi and hey and hello and hula back to all of you. It's great to have you. I'm your Happy Healer lover. And right now we're at $45.99. Now keep in mind we're going to be having a new program for conservative viewers and all viewers. But it's going to be dedicated to conservative issues, things that conservatives are concerned about. It'll be airing on Re-elect Trump channel. It'll be airing on MoneyMantics and on a few other channels. I think you should really look forward to that. Whether it transgresses or turns into, let's say, something that is live, or whether it's going to be a pre-recorded program will likely be determined shortly, maybe a little bit of both in the end. And I think you'll really, really enjoy what that becomes. Again, that's more to foster our community, the work that we're doing. We want to be engaged, and in this effort is to help President Trump to gain more support and to help more voters focus in on what is right, to get more people active on that level. It's not something that we ordinarily talk about on this program, and we've also talked to you about your Happy Healer lover endeavors himself, but for all intents and purposes, your Happy Healer lover is focused on you, focused on all of you. And yes, the left too, because we need to win for America. And whether you don't realize things I know or others know right now, we can all benefit each other for the things we do know. And what I do know for sure is that America needs a strong and vibrant future. And that doing things the way President Biden has been doing them isn't really going to get us there. That's a fact in my view. I think they're putting people against each other too much in ways that are too lasting. I think there's too much white hate, for example. I live in a van, and I'm dedicated to making the world better, and yet there people like me are hated. And like my little nephew who lives in a trailer park, except for that he's such a beautiful, smart, young little child, gonna be so great in this world, such a great American, yet he's not appreciated for who he is because he's white. This is a real problem, and that white people are becoming the devil, and it's not true. It's a lie, and the people saying it know it, and that is creating divisions that will last. It's not based on common sense. It's actually the response to common sense. This is how people sometimes choose to fight. They take it dirty, they take it to a lie, and that's how they respond to things that are true. And we'll be talking about that, but not to make this super political right now, because I love ya, and I want to talk about AMC at the moment. But mind you, we're always engaged thinking about the things that are important for all of our lives, and this was very important. God has a plan for us out of all of this, and this is the way. Make sure you like, share, and comment too on any questions you have. But do like and share. We give you the real information. Yeah, you can make good money on options, especially if it gets running. But over the long term, you tend to lose more money than you make. And had you just bought shares, you'd likely at least be breaking even and perhaps on AMC, making money depending on where you got in. If you got in at the last moment when it was at $72, well then I suppose you might have to wait a little bit longer, but I do think you'll get your money back and make money, and that's what's most important. And the change makers and the activists are out to take these hedge funds out, so we got work to do. Hey Jason, good morning, how are you? Did you get on SPRT, buddy? Oh, wow, really? Yeah, we got to keep our eye open. He's saying he found some pretty good price Zoom calls. We have to keep our eyes open for some of these better deals. And then share them with your Happy Healer lovers so I could share them with our wider network, our wider audience, who's looking for some different, due diligence that has been done by our group, and they trust us. We tell them the things that are true. We're not just trying to sell a program, for example. When we call out Moderna and get it right every time, it doesn't matter. We're still, if we're down so much in AMC from chasing the MOAS or down wherever in whatever ways elsewhere, that's going to bring the overall average down. So you have to be honest about that, because people get the wrong idea and then they'll lose all their money trying to be a famous superstar like you. And your story was a lie. No, you could be a superstar where you are and be honest everywhere. That's what helps people. And Jason will tell you, I'm a superstar. We all are in our own way, though. But I've helped people make a lot of money on Moderna, life-changing money, because I've told them with conviction when it was time. They got in it heavy, they got out, and that was their story. And, people have approached me. I've paid off my house. There you go. That's an act you can't screw up, right? Not unless you first get another mortgage on it. I've bought a car for my wife, done other things based on the intel I was giving them about Moderna. Moderna was way lower than its actual value was at that time. It wasn't even well over, it was like $200 when I was explaining it recently, and before that it was like $104. And so people really didn't believe it was going anywhere until it broke 200 and stayed above 200 for some time. And then there was that special time when it changed places with NVAX for me, when NVAX went higher and then it started going lower, and then came Moderna going higher and started going higher, and they passed each other. That was a special moment for me, because I remember looking at and staying focused on those two stocks and how they worked and walked together. And I do that with a lot of stocks. I do that with, and let's see how we're doing over here right now. We're at 45.56, like 45 and a half. Like I said, that's where I want to stay with this, and that's why I got out of that call. Not because, I don't want to take it and win or make a bunch of money on it, but because my experience tells me that was the position that if we dropped down to say 43, that would most hurt from that action. You get me? And so that was the position I chose to get rid of for a little profit. And that was prudent, I think. Getting in it was an act of perhaps fueled by a bit of fear of missing out, FOMO, but that didn't last long. We were hoping, those who of us were getting in at that point, we've seen the price moving quite relatively quickly,
And the hope was, will it continue to do that? And if it does, I want to be in it, right? And in it now, let's make money. And it could push 10 or 15 points just from the morning market movement. Likely it wouldn't be like a short squeeze, but could we maybe get that movement? And if we did, could we sell before we lost our money? Well, that's what those positions are good for. And once I realized we weren't moving, I sold it. And, that was the kind of position that you're looking to make 5 points on. And it's a good 5 points. And to sell it when you get there, with these other positions that are further out, you're looking to move more than 5 points. And that's why you have them, and that's why they're, geared for longevity. If you look at my 2 positions here on AMC themselves, yeah, I do put some methodology to this madness. And if you're looking, and by the way, we're up to 45.73. Have to say it quick before it changes. Both of my September 10 calls at 70 are hanging in there, only $10 negative, right? And if you look at, and I bought this when everything was going positive, a lot of energy. And if you look here at the September 3rd one, it can start becoming valuable sooner at $50. Doesn't have to move as far to get there. And that it expires on the 3rd. That's its downfall. Today is Tuesday, so it can really stand to lose money if this goes sideways. And it can. And so that's my biggest worrisome bet here. I would venture to say that to be in it for the MOAS, to be in it for the big movement, that the 2 September 10th positions are more in spirit with what I'm out to achieve. I want to see it move far and fast, and I want to be in it for that. Now remember, before all this got moving recently, you could have bought these same positions for like 10 cents. Remember that. Try and get into these positions when they're cheaper. I bought 10 at that point. That's why I did so well on the first move. And then I had to, for whatever reason, I made some poor choices, I guess. I didn't get out of it quick enough. I needed to get $1,000. I took like $1,100 out of the market. And then, that was then anyways. I don't even remember every detail at this moment that I'm thinking about it. But if you were around, I'm sure you recall. It was only a few days ago. So it's 10:31 right now. The market's been open for approximately 1 hour. We're going to go ahead and jump over to the chart. And I'm looking forward to introducing more stocks like we did with, and I like that movement right there, like we did with Regeneron, which is a stock I really do like. Looks like it's fallen a bit here, which is normal. Probably a little dip to get in on. If you look at this thing, it's only gauging higher. Can it take a drop? Come on. You're talking about the stock market here. But just take a look at that beautiful movement. And starting at 580, once they really got this new product worked out and more people are learning about it, COVID isn't going anywhere. Regeneron isn't going anywhere either. Their ways and means to make progress in individuals will only continue to grow and become better. Now this has grown from 32 to 34 as PRT. So that definitely has shown some more intraday progress here. Let's see. Only from when I seen it at 32 here. Are we looking at this thing wrong? This is intraday here? Yeah, it sure is. So it's come down some today. Let's see. Is that right? Sure is. Except for in this very moment, if you bought it down here, which some people have, they're actually making money on it, depending on where they bought it in this level. Anyways, let's step out of that. And I think depending on where you got in on that, you're doing very well. I'm very, very, very happy, exceedingly happy. Especially if you got in on SPRT in options and you rode it from 14 up to the $60 high and you had, let's say, 100 contracts, I think you should just take a break and just let that sink in for a while. You know what I mean? That would be such a huge take home. We could do the math on it. It'd be insane. You're talking 100 shares. You're talking a price point that's cheap as hell. And you're talking about forward progress per share of 13 to 60. Because it actually got that high. It didn't stay that high. But let's say you were able to sell that high, right? That'd be hard to do, by the way. You might be able to do 50. Why is it hard to do? Well, most people miss it. Remember that. But we all see it, and it's true for us all for a moment, isn't it? Just like when AMC went to 72. It was true for a moment. We could have all gotten out at that point. We didn't because we were hanging on for 100. But at that point, it could have been all the difference in the world. And that's the kind of market I want to see emerge out of all this. I'd be so happy. Mainly because I know what that would mean for our progress. Okay, so we're just moving here to GameStop now. Last we look at that, it was a little bit higher, so it sustained a drop. I guess that's the same thing everything did. And if you go back and look at AMC, it's the same thing. There's that drop. So it's nothing specific to AMC. It is more market specific, if anything. That means that drop is probably not going to continue to drop unless that same drop exists on all the markets. The way this is done is that if the market tends to start dropping as a whole, and depending on what parts of that market is dropping, like the S&P 500, or whether it's the Dow Jones Industrial Average, or whether it's big stocks within those indices, such as Google, and, you've just got this chance if, like Amazon, these huger stocks, if they all begin to start going down, that sometimes pumps up some of these shorted stocks. There's a certain truth there that a lot of these safer investments that are viewed to be safer but still potentially very profitable, and that is what exactly Google has been, and exactly what the S&P 500 has been. And so when those start losing money, you better believe hedge funds are hemorrhaging from a different way. And when they start getting called, that's when you start getting paid. And you start seeing the short squeeze occur. Yep, that's the way it works. And we've got MoneyMantics on board. God bless you all. MoneyMantics and medical marijuana in general will help people who are dealing with pain and other medical conditions to feel like life is worth living for that day, that they can be productive in whatever it is that they're doing, that they can find the will to push forward despite their pain. It's really important that we think about these folks. And for MoneyMantics, this bud's for you. That's medical marijuana. God bless you, and may God bless these great Americans and lovers from all over the world, humanity. That's how your Happy Healer lover does it. Every time. Every time. Not one of the times. Every time. Because we're lovers. It's what we do. It's the kind of magic we do. And the price here is $45.32. It's 45.32. And I'm giving it to you. Let's see where we are. We're down. Down by how far? I'm going to guess $42. Let's see. No, wait, let me guess again. It's going to be $42.50. Let's see. Yep, exactly. Wow, that's a good guess. I'm just kidding. I seen that one last second. Yep, the truth matters, that's all. So we're at 45.30 at the moment. The one taking, we've got some hits on are the positions that we're in, which are accumulatively seen as losses, except for that we have one gainer, and that is that we sold that September 3rd $45 call. Yep, I'm telling the truth. Thank you, Jason. It's just the way it goes, buddy. It's just the way it goes. But we'll knock him back and we'll make some money when it's all done, because our honesty works for us. And when we do good, you know you could trust it, because we tell you when we're doing bad. And by the way, that's a learning curve too. That's a cost of learning, and I'm not sure that every person doesn't go through that. Those who stick with it, most people, they fall away from it and vow to never touch the market again. It's that painful. And why do they do that? Why do they make a market like that? I think to myself, it's insanity. That's not how we're going to build America. That's not how we bring in super consumerism. That's how we quench it out and we make it into nothing. We mustn't do that. Well, our audience is dwindling. I guess that means it's time for us to close down and to come back for the closing part of the market. Depends on what you guys want to do. If you stick around, then I'll stick around with you right now. For now, we can do that. Everything's on the go for that. And we're just hoping to see some of this movement here. But, also what I'm going to do is try and keep it very specific to, I want to hear what stocks you're interested in so I could do some due diligence and come back together. And then I want to know your names and what we're all working on together. Because when you go into here, and I'll just give you a quick peek, we're at 45.15 at the moment. Gosh, we want to see that roll. But if you come into our Discord here, and you can join that, the information to do that is in the description below. And if you join this Discord here and you go on Moderna, which, MoneyMantics. I said Moderna, but I meant MoneyMantics. And you see here, there's a lot of comments by people. Well, there could even be a lot more, I would say. And here you see the movements we're making, the ideas we have. They're just told in detail. And it's an option for you to have a voice and share in that due diligence. And that's exactly what we're getting from our friends here. Excuse me. And I've been able to incorporate a lot of what they're saying into my thinking. And you can see some very useful information here coming from my friend. And there, Badu. Hello, Badu. How you doing? Yep, there, Badu. And that's just, he's not a financial advisor, though, just so you know. He experiences the world by seeing his own observations and calculating them, doing the math. He's a calculator, and he's an observer, and he's a decider. And he makes decisions, he puts them here, so that the rest of us can put little happy liking faces to them. So come to Discord so that you can be a part of that weirdness, and it would be great to have you here. And you can read up on some of the things that we're saying. It really is valuable to those who have it in their heart. Alright, so that's Discord. And Discord will continue to be a place where we can grow in a larger community. Remember, this community is dynamic and it has many, it's just as wide and vibrant as all of the SubMantics brands of passion, with just as many different people working together on different subject matter. And they're aware of each other. That's okay. They're all focused on what they're doing. Just because they're stronger in other areas does not scare the individuals so intent and passionate in where they are, because in everywhere in the SubMantics brands of passion, it's about being passionate in that specific brand, in that specific subject. And so it's a wonderful way to view the world, and that's, again, teachings that come free with everything else. That's the best way. And I talk about it specifically and individually like it's a course itself, but really putting it into practice and explaining how the benefits come to play are more effective and it's more useful. You're putting it to use, which means it's more effective. We're at $44.95. There we are, stepping back. That's why we got out of that stupid call, because our intention is to hold. And right now we're down $83. And whenever we start experiencing these down movements, they can continue to be murderous. That's what the truth tells us. And this is how we lose money, when we see these movements and then we're challenged to react to them. And right now I'm not going to react. I think that, and that's why I got out of that movement, because it afforded me, and I said it at the moment, you can look back, that's the one thing that would afford me to be able to stick in with these other movements, because losing $1 or $2 here won't cost me the entire value of what that particular option was costing. And so that option would have lost a lot of value. Even now, it would be much lower. And so, it really counted on forward progress. And that's what happens when you're so near the strike price. You stand to gain the most when it moves forward, but you stand to lose the most when it moves backwards. And I think you could understand that. This is a pretty cool way, as it turns out. Later I've watched some of these. It's a very unique way of having all of the various positions just right off to the right of the screen, and to have it up there like that, and to use the phone. I think it's more up close and personal, and it also still provides a pretty good picture of what's going on. And the phone is very nice too. It's aesthetic looking as far as presentation goes. And you can see more here. And I've used the paper, it's gone now, my simulated holdings. And what I did as a test, and I did it, well back long enough now that it was interesting to watch as it went. And that is, I bought shares. I did $1 million simulated holding portfolio, and I bought shares, and I wanted to see where and how much they'd be valuable moving forward. Do you realize it went up like, one thing, Moderna blew it straight out of the water, because I bought those shares on Moderna when they were around 140, and Moderna's trading right now just under 400. It's amazing. And all the stocks were making money. I think a couple of them were challenged. So AMC right now is $45.12. Definitely better than what we were looking at a moment ago. SPRT is currently at 33 and 4T. ADA is ART. Well, 279. And you could even, on this, some of these lower positions, it gives you that extra decimal knowledge. You could take that out to 7908 on the right side of the decimal. Although you'll confuse a lot of people if you use that in your language a lot. I think in your mind you can consider it, because in some of these positions, especially like say the whole stock is worth 32 cents instead of 278, that extra information becomes not helpful. You can see which way the stock's moving, because the higher numbers don't move enough to really tell you much. And remember, math is a language, and it's speaking to you when it's dynamic and changing based on values in this world. And that's amazing. Everything we live is in the forces, has give and take, or like shock absorbers with other matter, and all things are matter. This is MoneyMantics stuff I love talking about and imagining, because it never ends on how far and how deep it can really go. I'd have to say to you, hold on to my hand, let's shut everything, shut your lights off, be in a dark room, relax, and you're going to shut your eyes, lean back on your favorite chair, and just listen. Listen as your happy healer lover speaks to you, and just get into that stuff. It can be very effective. Would you like that? Do you want to do a session? I'll take you on a beautiful session. I'll show you this world the way it really looks and make it so beautiful and understandable on a molecular level. Time now is 10:50 a.m. Yep. We're down to 277. I'm really thinking about selling my ADA holdings before they drop too far. They can tend to take a drop at these points, but I'm not going to sell it, I don't think, because it always comes back. It's just looking at it lower momentarily. Now, if it tests you and it stays that way for too long, that's where us poor folk get in trouble, because we don't have a choice. Being patient and hodling is a lot more than just hodling for us. Sometimes it means we got to cash in so we can eat or something. And by the way, you can have a position in Coinbase and or on the stock market, and if you need that money, get that money within minutes. You only need to move it to your Bitcoin. If you have Cardano, you can move that to your Bitcoin, and then from your Bitcoin you can move it to your Cash App, and from there you can instantly deposit into your bank account. So there's ways to do it and to do things that help you effectively move your money around, that allows you to be in these movements to capitalize on them longer. Some of you might think you have to be out days in advance. That's not true. You could be in a moment in a position and then change. In fact, I could do a live presentation of how that works, and I will, I guess, at some point. But basically, you're selling your ADA, or you're converting it to Bitcoin when you're in Coinbase, and then from Bitcoin you do a transfer to your wallet in the Cash App, and then you'll see your balance of Bitcoin show up there because you transferred it from Coinbase to the Cash App. Both of these wallets are yours. Now that you have this money in your Cash App, you can simply sell the Bitcoin, and now the balance shows as USD, and that's exactly what you need, are dollars, and it's in your Cash App account. You can either use it from there if you have a Cash App credit card, a Visa card like I do. I think they're smart to have, and they make it easier for when you need to spend your money, that you could spend it in ways that are more useful to you now. And then, of course, you can also do an instant cash, withdrawal from your Cash App account into your checking account, and it's very cheap. If you do it this way, it's very negligible. Imagine doing an instant wire transfer to somebody. It'll cost, so much money, right? Especially if it's smaller amounts, like it's, $100 or $50. They still charge quite a bit. A lot of that is fees. When you do it this way, there's very minimal fees. light on the fees. You know what I mean? Light enough that if you need the money, it makes sense. If you need $20, you could pull it out of your trading account. If you need $50, you can pull it out of your trading account. And, that's really helpful. By the way, you can get it back into your trading account much in the same way. If you can't get cleared funds and you need cleared funds into, I'm thinking of a way right now how one might get cleared funds. Well, you see, the thing is, the portfolios in your actual trading account, I think that you potentially, as in the future, might have the ability to bring in from outside platforms, Bitcoin or maybe other coins, maybe a stable coin or some bridge that'll bring you from that platform to this one on the crypto network. You could exchange your value there and then convert it back to dollars. So I suspect that'll also be an option in the future that'll help make it easier for people to deal with money matters. But until that happens, what you do is from Cash App, it's quite simple to get money out of your account or put money back into your account. With your trading account, if you're doing options, what you must do is you would have to do a wire transfer. It's the only thing you can do. It costs me $15 per wire transfer, and I usually, when I do that, I try to stick with it with enough to make it worthwhile. So on a percentage level, it's still okay. That I wouldn't have to do it again the next day. That would be foolish, paying that all the time. So I try to think about what I need, and I do it. And it works. And then if you need it back when you do a cash out, it's a little similar, and you get your money right away. So in a situation where on these, like a Webull, or I also use Thinkorswim by what is that one? I want to say TD. What is it? Ameritrade. One of those. I can't remember. TD Ameritrade. Is that it? Thinkorswim is ran by. I want to say TD. Doesn't matter. It's inconsequential. The point is that in order to have moving your money around in ways that are easy for you to do that, these are some tricks, and they really work. I've used them a lot. Without doing it, I think the biggest thing is look at Coinbase. It takes the connection between Coinbase and Cash App really makes it so that you can, just like you can on your stocks, you can on Coinbase be able to move in and out even easier than you can on stocks, as it turns out, which is really a good thing, because before that was possible, Coinbase would tell you the quickest way to cash out takes a day if you jump through their hoops, and if you don't jump through their hoops, it takes a week. Think about that. The money that you have wrapped up in that investment would require you to stay in that investment until you are able to make that move. It's too much. You can't wait a day sometimes. You can't wait 6 days or a week at times. So that's the best way, is you transfer it over to your Cash App, and you do it through Bitcoin typically. All right, folks, right now on AMC, we are currently at 45.62, which we went ahead and just skipped this little drop right there. We didn't have to worry about that. We banged right on through it because we were talking about some good knowledge. We're coming up on the 11 o'clock hour. Do me a favor. Share and like this content, and doing that will have me here more often. Typically, I'd promise I'm here every morning to do the market open, and I like to be present for the market close, and I like to provide value and build our community, and all of that is done throughout the market hours, but I can't guarantee that I'll be on all the time. It doesn't make feasible sense for that. I mean, I put down there my Cash App. If you enjoy what I do, help me out, so then it makes a lot more sense to be here rather than doing other things to try and, compete with that. That is definitely there for that purpose. Now, you don't have to feel like that's an absolute thing that you must do at all. I'm here to provide value at the end of the day and a relationship with you that I care about. And if you agree that I provide value in your life, unlike what anyone else can do, in that the care that I'm sending through this is sufficiently affecting you in positive ways, and you want to see this continue, I'm just giving you a logical way on how you can help this continue and have logical effect on that input in ways that turn out to be very strong in my experience. And so there's nothing wrong with that. Something that provides you happiness and value in your life, that you help back that and keep that alive and do what you can in order to get other people on board to see that same value so that we can do special things together. You know what I'm capable of. You know what I'm about. But from the very beginning, I've always said this. When I'm appreciated, I do a better job. Isn't that true for all of us? When one is appreciated, they're free to do a better job because they know that people care about the work they're doing and that they're not being ignored. And that goes the distance. And it can't be ignored, not by me. I work on those energies. So when I see that the people are tuning out, I almost myself just want to also then go on to other things, because I'm not here just for me. I'm here for all of us. I'm here to see us to a better world and to love us to a better world, to realize that better world and to build a vision on it is to translate a gift. That's what I'm here to do. I want to translate that gift. And people need it. They need that gift. And so that's why I'm here. And I think that is not anything you can get from any other creator on YouTube or on Facebook. So people value that. And the program that we'll be picking up soon that I explained earlier, I suspect I'll have more information on that soon as well. That's something that likely will start by Thursday at the latest, and perhaps earlier. I'll give you a heads up on that. And I think you'll really enjoy it. I think that especially my conservative friends, where we break down things that help build our case, the Trump case, the conservative case. And so I think they'll really enjoy that. And we plan to have, or at least the intention and I plan to have, guests that you'll enjoy. I think that we have enough of a backing that we can attract quality guests on that channels where we'll be doing that. And that's also our strength, is that we have multiple channels that are all, giving into that endeavor. And so that's something that I want to work on in the future. And if you enjoy that or agree with that, make sure you leave a comment about that, because it really will have a huge impact on the way I feel about the things I'm working on and whether it's clicking and translating for you. It's so important to me because we're together in this. I don't have to be right 100% of the time when I've got you to bounce off of. And so I would like to be able to bounce off of you. And that's what a community is. And that's what I always cherish most. More than any one thing, I cherish the community so that we can grow and do special stuff to help our view emerge victorious. That's important. We have to establish and talk about our view. We have to talk about what it looks like, what our winning looks like, and then we have to win on behalf of President Trump We have to get him elected again. We have to also address the areas where we have election fraud and mistrust in government. We have to address all of that. That can't go on like that and still have a very successful, happy America. So that's hard work, and we have to do it, folks. And it'll take a discussion about it. We'll attract good guests. We'll attract... so that's what's to look forward to on that. And everybody's always welcome in what we're building. If you want to be involved, there's always a way that you could be involved. That is because one thing I realize is so many people are eager to be a part of special things, and there's no place often for them to go. Like, their only value ever is just as a conscious observer, part of the audience. And that's a great place to be. I'll tell you, it's a rewarding place to be. The gift that humanity gives is just a gift that keeps giving. We're so creative and so interesting that we're able to build new media and more media, and it's almost a natural thing. And that's what media really is becoming. Social media and media in general is an individual thing. It's something that's shared between people. It's getting your thoughts right and expressing yourself. It's telling a story that better explains the way you feel. It is communication. And the more and more people that realize that will become active in media, and I think the future will be a media-driven society, and I think that's a good thing. The more people are lit up, the better. Remember, in the past, when we were not lit up, kings and queens can conspire to do the worst stuff to people. People never knew what was going on the other side of the world until months later, and that was a problem. The world was too large to have an effect. Things that were affecting you were not even told to you until it was after it was already done, and that the, whatever consequence was going to be inevitable. And so this information world that's emerging is a world that's safer for you, and it's safer for me. And so that's what the light and truth does. And I believe that's a gift from God. We're stepping more into the light, and that's what that light of truth is. It's lighting up all around us. And so we wouldn't want less of that. In fact, that might even be around the latest actions of what we see in Kabul, where it's certainly not because of anything that Biden has done. But in the areas where the Taliban has kept itself within, reason, it has me thinking a lot of things, and I'll be sharing that on our show that comes out, as it'll be more focused for that kind of content, and it'll be politically driven in that way, unlike any of the other shows I've done. And I think that'll be a powerful avenue for us to really come together about issues that affect all of us together, and areas that you would expect and want of your happy healer lover. And I want you talking to me about it, what you think about it. Jason, what you got for me? BBIG up? BBIG, okay, let's go check it. I said BBIG. BBIG, yeah, 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 yeah. BBIG, yeah, 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 yeah. Let's go get it to BBIG, yeah. And we're looking good on AMC, yeah. So we're good to go. Yeah. Okay. Did I do it right? BBIG. It's like Be Big. That's all. Alright, yep, that's it. Oh boy, what are we going to see here? Let's put it on our list for one thing. We've got some real serious... What did I do with that? Oh, well... Alrighty. Oh, so it's moved quick and then it's come down a bit, but it has a lot of upside based on where it's come down from, I think is what the big point here is. Let's step back out for just one moment. Yep, there it is. That's a larger open picture. And look how far from which it came. Let's look at 3 month on that. Ooh, wow. Oh, wow. There's a lot of movement here so fast. So is this still going right now? Are we in the infancy of this, Jason? Man, I'll tell you what, if that's the case, BBIG, I think you might be onto one here, buddy. I don't know if I have enough to really get into it. That's my play. Right now, I've really lost just doing some silly things. Let's see. BBIG. Not silly things, just turned out that way. Oh, look at this. We can get into this right now because it's not expected to move, but yet here it is moving. Let's do that. We'll take on one position, and if we do right, then we'll be okay. That's together good enough. Yeah, let's see what we can do. If it moves, it moves. It was a good choice then. Alright, we'll see where it goes. You gotta try and make some money around AMC sometimes. And AMC is losing. You know, it's making this portfolio go down more. So I gotta think in that way. It'll all be doing great if it just comes rushing out, though. And BBIG might be the thing that really pushes here. Wow, look at that. And I don't know much about it. I just know that I've got Jason on my side and we might do something. It's just gambling anyway. These are these short squeezes that we're seeing occur. And it's how, you know, you got to move fast on them to get in them. And you might have to move fast to get out of it in time too. And you know, use enough money to make a difference if you're in it, but also not so that you'll get too hurt. And that's basically where I'm at on it, I think. And double check that position. You get shocked about what position you really took. You always got to check your positions. Yeah, we're $5 down on it, meaning we are moving down. I could have slowed down my approach, perhaps, but we just wanted to get in it. So we're right on. That's not bad. September 10th. I'm sorry, September 17th. That gives time on BBIG as well. I'm not sure how much time is really needed, though. What is this guy gonna do, huh? It just got up there, so what's it gonna do? That's pretty interesting. Is it gonna keep pushing even higher? Or is it gonna start coming down? Right, that's the best we can do. So we'll see what happens. Right now we gotta wait to see what's gonna happen in this thing. It's coming back down a little bit. Let's see. I was looking at that the wrong way, actually. A little bit, but still, this is a good time to jump in. We're at 625. Yep, we'll see. Let's step out of it for a moment. I think everything's just sort of in a good position, and we're waiting to move. Now this BBIG, I think it's due to come up now, and we've seen it make that little progress right there. Now, of course, I was looking at something that was a little bit different than what we're looking at now, although we could still jump out, and I don't really feel the pressure to. We're at a day. Okay. Let's go. So we got that on our heart list, on our watch list here. So we'll just back out of there and we'll come back here for a bit. And it's on a cycle, so that's okay. If things turn out good, I guess it's okay. And the cycle's changing around a bit, so we'll see how it holds. Really want to see it break out. Let's look at the month. I mean, we're kind of at like our all-time highs. That means hedge funds are doing very well as well, because, well, I would imagine, because they have a lot of investment in the market too. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Just looking at the history of Moderna a little bit here. And that's where we stand on the day. Remember, at one point we were up $13 on the day, so that's still trending down from the top point. Right. SPRT is at 33.26. We got Moderna here, which is now settling in at 375.97. And now we're going to set up here for AMC, which we are at 45.33. And again, I think that's a good place to be at, really. That's kind of what I'm trying to do here already. That's what your Happy Healer Lover does. That's what your Happy Healer Lover does and teaches about, guys. Period. Why aren't you with me? Question mark. Yeah. Right on. To the early morn. Should be in there. Alright. You got to see that. I think we're going to go ahead and... Right now, time is 11:23. And we're probably going to go ahead and settle things out now. What do you guys think? Got anything more for me? Got a call coming in. Yeah. Right. That's right. What can I say? It's right. Is it right? It's right. And these consequential organizations, they can have a really big impact on, the outcome of what happens in different industries. You see it all the time, right? That's right. You sure do. Mm-mm. Yep. It's coming down to 374 on Moderna. You might want to take a look at that. Make sure that you got yourself covered there, that you're using lover techniques. And Ernestine says we need Trump. That's it. It's true. Let's rock and roll. My yogurt. You know that yogurt? That's my yogurt. Oh, yummy. That does it for my tummy. Yep. Yummy, yummy for my tummy. And don't you know I just love you so much? I know you already know that, but isn't it nice to hear it though? Alrighty. $3.74, 85, 85, 85, 85. That's the way it goes, and so my imagination is running wild for what's going to be left to these Afghanistans and how their lives are going to persist. Oh, y'all left me already? I gotta go. Yeah, I should go take a break. I was thinking if I had some more viewers on, we were going to hang out and I'd tell a few stories, but we'll do that next time. I'll see you back on here for market close. Much love to you. In the meantime, you know where I'll see you. It's in the Discord, so be there. Love you, Jason, and everybody else. I know who you are. Love you. And I actually ask, where have you been? Where has your attendance been? I want to see it, and I'm going to start naming names if I don't see you soon. We'll see you on the market close. Booyah! Ah, bah, boom.